let's get to the Peach Bowl as your Bulldogs going to be taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Just a beautiful chef's kiss of a 1-4 matchup. But here's the deal, Aaron. We all know that it's likely that Georgia dominates this game. At least the law of transitive sports properties maybe lean towards that. But if you were to create a path for Ohio State, you who know this Georgia team so well, what does the path look like? Like when you lay your tiny little doggy head at bed at night and you're dreaming of chasing down cars and chewing on milk bones, what fears creep in to those dreams?
Well, I think for them, and it's unfortunate, Henderson is now out for the game. He's going to have surgery.
Yeah.
Travion Henderson, one of their top running backs. I think this is a game where you want to two things: run the football and then be able to stop the run. And I say run the football, and people are like, oh, well, they throw the ball so well, and that's C.J. Stroud, and they got Marvin Harrison Jr. Why not attack Georgia, who struggles against the pass? You saw it versus LSU. We saw it last year versus Alabama. But you have to be able to set that up. The problem is if you can't run the football and Georgia just plays too high and keeps Chris Smith back and Starks back and is able to essentially give some support to Keeley and to Kamari Lassiter on the outside, it's going to be tough. Like, it is not easy as a former quarterback. It is not easy to throw the football versus cover two. It sucks. There's not a lot of holes out there. When it's cover two and there's a six-man box, what do you want to do? They want to run the football. You want to invite a safety to have to come into the box. So for Ohio State, the goal shouldn't be, let's go out there and start throwing the ball down the field and let's go out there and attack these corners and throwing go balls and post routes and corners and all that. Yes, you want to eventually do that, but just like any good offense, you have to set it up. You have to find a way to get that safety in the box. You have to find a way to get one-on-one coverage. So I think for Ohio State, it's, can we run the football? And like I said, it's a massive loss knowing that one of your top running backs would not be in this game. I think that really hurts their chances of having consistent success against this defense. If you're going to be one-dimensional against Georgia, I don't care if it's pass or run, you're going to have issues. So run the football, find a way to get some one-on-one opportunities. And then when you do get those opportunities, like I said before the LSU game, you got to take your shot. You can't be afraid as soon as you get anywhere near the 50 to just dial it up. If you say, okay, man, I'm kind of feeling that Kirby Smart's going to dial up some sort of pressure or single high coverage, we're just going to go for it. We're going to say, F it. We're going balls to the wall. You got to take your chances. On the other side of the Garrett Nussmeier style. Like we got to take our shots. And then on the defense side of the football, it's simple. It's obviously easier said than done, but you got to stop Brock Bowers. Stop Brock. Stop Brock, stop Darnell, and force Stetson to win the football game by throwing to A.D. Mitchell and Ladd McConkey. And then same thing, like I talk about, like, can you run the football? Can you also stop the run? They did a great job in the first half versus Michigan, kind of left their guys on an island on the back end, and that hurt them. But they've shown the ability here or there to slow down a running game. Can you put the game into Stetson's hands? Can you force Stetson to go out there and be the milkman, the mailman, whatever you want to call him, be a Heisman finalist type football player? That's what I would do. I would still say, okay, if we're going to lose the game, we're going to force Stetson to throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, and then we're going to find a way to run the football on our side as well.
Okay, so I've got a few questions, and yes, I do agree with you in terms of Ohio State. Obviously, you got to find a way to stop the tight ends. But I think the great mistake that Ohio State made against Michigan was, even though they gave up the big plays to McCarthy, it kind of caused them to then start playing more coverage and the run game started to hit. Like, I think Ohio State should have said F it and just kept going one-on-one. You're like, okay, I'm going to make McCarthy keep doing this. I'm going to make him keep hitting big plays of me throughout this game. The problem is Georgia's probably a bit better, but like, I trust Stetson way more in that situation to win that game. Cody Burnett says LSU had like 40 rushing yards and threw for 500. They didn't set up anything. I guess the easy counter argument there, Cody, would be, but they lost by 20. So you put up numbers, but contextually, they were empty numbers where I don't mind if you're putting up stats if you're not going to actually have a chance of winning the games. Return of the Jedi Rusty Spooner says, let's go Buckeyes. Georgia thinks they got this in the bag, LMFAO. Last time my Buckeyes were ranked number 4, we won the national championship. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Smith are going to give the ATL puppies a reality check. Ooh, Aaron Murray sounds like you about to get them claws trimmed, dog.
Yeah. You know what I am hoping if I'm an Ohio State player, I'm hoping for a good turnout. I think that's still the one thing that still amazes me when I go back and think about the SEC championship game. It was 80-20. It was 90-10.
How does that amaze you?
Fans.
In what world does that amaze you? Why should the poorest citizen of one of the poorest states in the country, Louisiana, spend their hard-earned money watching that shit show that was about to happen? Like, LSU did not stand a chance in that game.
No, T-Bob. It was competitive. It was competitive early. They looked good at times. And you can't tell me as a player, when you go into a supposed neutral site, and yes, you understand heading in, like, okay, we're in the state of Georgia.
It's not neutral.
More Georgia fans. Okay, I'm explaining my point. It's going to be more Georgia fans, but it shouldn't be 80-20. It shouldn't be 90-10. Red and black essentially owning the stadium and it feeling like it was a game played in Sanford, not in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
First off, Atlanta is Sanford for Georgia. You can drive there. And I mean, Athens is an hour away. Secondly, I would have been interested to see what the numbers had been had LSU like come out and kicked A&M's ass, right? But make no mistake, this is why the A&M game mattered so much to LSU. It completely deflated the fan base. Took away any playoff hope. Like, it felt just shitty. It made you realize, okay, no, we don't have a chance against Georgia. So I'm not surprised at all by that. Like, Ohio State should show up much better. Ohio State fans, even though, again, they're at a huge geographic disadvantage. Though as a 4 seed, I think that's, well-deserved. Ohio State fans should show up and travel better than LSU fans did.
You would hope so. But like we talked about it, like what would you rather go to if you're an LSU fan? Would you rather go to an SEC championship game, a chance to support your team, maybe get a banner? I mean, let's not forget, like, you think like, oh,
I'd rather go to the Citrus Bowl and go to Orlando, dude. But I love theme parks, so I'm not the right person to ask questions.
I get the fact that you lost to A&M and the win was knocked out of your sails, but you still beat Alabama. So like, if you're good enough to beat Alabama. And that adrenaline in the stadium and the excitement around LSU football and the belief in Brian Kelly and what you're building, why would you not give them an opportunity versus Georgia? If you still put Alabama and Georgia on the same pedestal, why would you not give them an opportunity versus UGA and at least show up to the game and make it a little bit more of a hey, man, we're here to support our boys? Like, it was depressing. Like, if I'm an LSU player, I'm literally depressed looking at that stadium.
You have sidetracked this conversation, but Alabama and Georgia are not on the same level this year. Not this year. They are overall program-wise, but they are not on the same level this year. Like, Alabama was
what's a bigger win? What's a
not
bigger win? What would Alabama, if LSU fans, not saying...
Oh, they would definitely choose. Yes, Argo.
Choose Alabama. I'm not saying one is for an SEC championship game, but you would choose Alabama. Like, that to me, that's a bigger win for them. So... But we'll circle back. Like, this does go back to the fact, like, what do Ohio State fans feel right now? Like, we got our butts whooped by Michigan. Georgia beat the living crap out of Michigan last year. And yes, it's a new season, but we do view Georgia as the better version of Michigan. Do we want to waste our hard-earned money to go down to Atlanta? We don't have one of our best receivers. We don't have one of our best running backs. Our defense isn't as good as we thought it would be. Why do we want to go down to Atlanta to go witness a massacre there in Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
No.
What's the difference?
Go look at our boy Jedi Rusty Spooner in the chat. He doesn't feel that way. He says Tommy Eichenberg's about to show you what our linebackers are really like. Like, Ohio State fans don't think they're bad. Ohio State fans think they just had a bad day against Michigan. Ohio State fans have lost like 5 games in like 5 years. They have NFL talent all over the field. They are as talented or, 1A, 1B maybe with Georgia in terms of NFL talent. So I don't think the similarities between where the LSU fan base confidence was and the Ohio State fan base confidence was is similar at all. Ohio State fans feel like they had one, but they feel like they belonged in the playoff. They didn't get lucky to make the playoff. Ohio State fans feel like this is their birthright. And now that they got back in, that they're about to make a run and win a national championship, a la the last time that they got in as the 4 seed. So I think Ohio State fans will travel well. Unfortunately, all the fans in the world probably doesn't prepare you for beating a UGA team that is proven to be all but unbeatable when they give you when they fully focus their eye.
What are you taking right
you.
now? So Georgia at the moment is a 6.5-point favorite. I would kind of lean towards Georgia with the points here.
6.5 is not as big as I thought that would be.
I wouldn't either.
I find it so hard to trust Ryan Day. I mean, in a game like this where Ohio State's maybe a better matchup because of their skill positions and NFL talent's going to be relatively equal. Like, there's a bunch of NFL guys on that Ohio State O-line to try to block Jalen Carter and company. Like, I should take Ohio State with a 6.5, but I just don't know if I trust Ryan Day in big games. He hasn't really had it yet.
I trust Kirby and that defensive staff with more time to prepare to get ready to slow down that offense, especially without the running game, especially with your top receiver not coming back. So I do try. To me, when I look at it, so that's a 6.5-point spread. TCU Michigan's a 7.5-point spread. I think that game's going to be closer of a football game. I think TCU is good enough to win that football game. I really do. The more that I've gone back and watched TCU this year, the more that I've gone back and watched Michigan, I think that is a extremely competitive 4-quarter football game. And if you tell me that's a 4-quarter game and it's a close game, I think TCU has the ability to win that football game as well. I don't think Ohio State has a shot to beat Georgia. I really don't. I just gave all the reasons why or what Ohio State needs to do in order to win. I don't think that happens. I don't think they find a way to run the football. I think Jalen Carter and that defense will stop them. Once again, I think they're going to have enough success on first and second down to play a little bit more 2 high safeties and then still be able to get after CJ Stroud. And then on the other side, I think Georgia will be able to run the football against this offense and our defense for Ohio State. I think they will be able to. They're better. Just straight up, Georgia's the better football team. I think TCU with their improvements on defense, and I think with Dugan and the receiver and all that, I still don't know how good Michigan is. They look great for Ohio State. I get that, but I just have seen too many instances this year where I'm like, I don't trust JJ McCarthy still. I do not trust JJ.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. And last thing I'll say, because we got to move on to Tennessee, Bilbo Baggins saying Ohio State played their playoff game against Michigan, got exposed. Again, y'all, like, I loved doing the Michigan-Ohio State postgame show. It was fascinating. We do have to remember this was a 1-game sample size. Like, we're making a lot of declarative statements over 1-game sample size. And it gets it, it's all we have to draw on. And Michigan and Georgia are similar in styles. But also, it means that all Ohio State has worked on since that game is how does this not happen again? Which would also, in theory, prepare them maybe for a Georgia, though Georgia's offense is something completely different than Michigan's.